back to another video. Today we are going to be fixing
an electric dryer.
And thank you for watching all my videos, liking and subscribing. So I am FixItFic, and this is Fat Daddy Armpit.
Hello. Alright, so really this video is just for myself in a year, because every year I go to fix my dryer and forget everything I've learned. So I thought I would record it and we could save all that information. If you are a simple cave person and you don't know how to fix things, this is a very easy way to check everything. If you watch it, great. If not, it was really just for me next year. I know what you're thinking. Why does it break every year? Well, the reason is we have a room that is not vented. So the room gets super hot, and then that causes malfunctions in the different fuses and things. So we've fixed everything on this dryer. We've taken out the motor. We've watched lots of videos. And so we're just trying to give advice to ourselves. And if you like it, that's great too. So the first thing you're going to want to do that is a problem is you're going to want to figure out how to use a multimeter. And this usually takes half of my time. So what you're going to do is you're going to just switch this to ohms, but your multimeter might be like mine and it has all kinds of K and millimeter and micro. You just want it to say, ours says 200, and it also makes a beep. So electricity goes through this and comes back to this, and if it makes a circuit, we call that continuity, and then it beeps. So that's all you're looking for.
It's the only one that has a sound bar next to it.
And if you're looking at continuity, it's going to be 0.1. So that's what we're looking for. Okay, so none of the other buttons matter right now. Just stick with what you need to figure out. So there's several things you're going to want to check first. First, you're probably thinking, why doesn't he just get a condensation dryer that's ventless? Well, we didn't know that existed until a few days ago. So I guess they run about $1,000, and they're really popular everywhere except the United States. So a ventless dryer, then it uses some kind of science and
technology.
And so you're looking for a condensation dryer, then you don't have to worry about the vent overheating. But we're going to keep this one until it's done and out. So first thing you want to check is you take your multimeter and you want to check if at your cord or junction box, make sure that you have the two breakers set. So go out, redo the breakers. It runs 220, or 240. No, 220, sorry. 220, 221.
Like sandpaper, 220.
So 220 is what you're looking for. You should have two breakers that are together. One's a 110 and another one's a 110, and it equals 220. And apparently the motor could still run on 210. It's the element that needs the 220. So your motor might still be running and it's just not getting hot. So you're doing 3 or 4 loads of drying before a load gets dry. That might be one of the reasons. So you're checking the box circuit breaker. We already did that. Then you're going to come in and you're going to find this big red cord here. This big red cord.
First step, unplug it.
First step, unplug it.
And also get some sort of container to hold all your screws so you don't lose it in the future.
Good tips. So you're going to take off the back with these tiny little screws, and there's a whole bunch of them, and then this whole metal piece comes off. In the back then you'll see this control panel, and we're just going to pull off the main one, which has this big red wire on it, and you're going to hook up a circuit from the red wire all the way down where the red wire, just follow the red wire and it goes right down to the bottom. So you're going to have one at the top and one at the bottom. You're going to touch those, and if electricity is going all the way through the circuit and comes back, it should beep. So ours is beeping. No, he has it set to the wrong thing. So, but ours didn't beep. And so we don't have continuity through the whole circuit. If you did, then you know all the fuses are good, everything's good, and it has to be something up here in this box. Okay, So, second thing you're going to do then is you're going to start checking your fuses along the way. So inside a fuse is some kind of filament or something, and you hook it up if it overheats or whatever the situation is that it's set for, and it breaks loose, then there's no circuit connecting. So it's a safety or a safeguard to make sure it doesn't overheat. Being that this one's been in a small room, it gets really hot and moist in here. So you're going to hook up to go to the next fuse, and we're going to pop that off. And if my assistant wants to check that.
There are 2 holes in a fuse. Those make it easier for you to test it. Okay. This one is marked 0.1.
Okay, so it'll have a bunch of numbers. Eventually it'll go down to 0.1 and it'll beep. Okay, so then you're just going to put them back onto the terminals. And we know that this is good. This fuse is good. And we're just going to work our way down. So the next fuse we're going to check are these 2, only because we already know what the problem is. So I want to unhook these. And if inside it's bad, then it wouldn't have a circuit, it wouldn't beep. We wouldn't have continuity. Okay, then you're going to put those back. Make sure you keep putting them back in order, and then you don't have to worry about which goes where. Okay, we're going to check the bottom one. And we've already checked this one, so we already know it's good, but there are, you can see there, 2 sets. These red ones are the ones you're worried about. The purple ones go off to something else as well. We don't even know. So you're going to check those 2 and then those 2. And on this, they were good. So that brought us over to the last piece, which is the heating element. So we again tested these 2 here and they were good. We tested these 2 here and they were good. So that really led us to believe there's only one thing left, which is the heating element. So we took that off. And if you look here at the heating element, you could see it was down here. So it's so brittle that it broke off and there's no connection here. But then it also touched this and just made a big mess. When we pulled it, little pieces came off like that. So we knew it was toast. So that, of course, wasn't a piece that I had ordered. You might want to do all these things before you order anything. So because this has happened so many times, we ordered a pack with all the different fuses.
This is the fuse we will need. And hold it. There is this fuse that is all the way down there. Right down there. There is this fuse which easily goes right there. And this is the old one. And there's this fuse.
Okay, so since all those were good, once I tested them, that threw us in a lurch because then we had to wait a couple more days to get the new piece, which is this heating element. So we got this, just got that today from Amazon, $20.
It's worth it.
We are going to hook it up. We're going to just slide it right in here, hook it up to these 2 terminals, and put the fuse on there. This fuse is set so it knows if it's getting too hot. It's hard to see, I know.
The fuse is labeled 397767.
Okay, so we're going to now just put this in, which it just slides right in there.
You put this, you see here this, you put this hole through there, and then you attach this to the one of the fuses.
Okay, so we're going to put that on. Really, the whole thing, if you know what you're doing and remember what you did last time, 10 minutes tops. But we've made so many errors and learning new things on it. So essentially, we've taken the whole thing apart. We've taken out the motor, which underneath here is a drum that just goes around. There's a motor that turns it with a belt. And so the belt could break. The motor, we found out the motor goes out. If you see that it kind of lurches, if you turn the drum and it has that lurch to it, that is your motor went bad. So I'm going to turn it over to Fick here, and he is going to finish up.
Right after I check this.
Okay, so as you can hear, he's making sure there's continuity. Everything's good. So really all we're going to do is pop that right in there and put a couple screws on and then reattach these. And so there's 2 screws that'll go right there and hold that in. They're in our handy dandy magnetic cup.
Wow, all the screws are the same. Now, wait, which screws are...
Okay, for memory, we are going to want to use this little hex nut screwdriver. That's the easiest one to remember.
Okay.
Okay, also remember, don't tighten the screws all the way when you're putting it in. Do it halfway, then put the other side in halfway, and then you can tighten it so you have some wiggle room. So now we're just going to attach those last ones down there.
And check.
Okay, so the wires are the next part, and Fick has already put the wires on there. You can see you really want to make sure you take a picture beforehand so you know where each wire goes, and they just push right on there. If you're having trouble with it, you could use a screwdriver, but you don't want to pull on the wire because it'll snap. Okay, so then we're going to just close this up and we're good to go. All right. Okay, here's a couple of quick tips. Underneath the air filter, there are 2 screws, which we had to take out when we took the front part off and replaced the motor. So those 2 screws there are hidden underneath the lint trap. So if you're looking for 2 more screws, can't figure it out, that's where they are. Okay, so there it is, all buttoned up and all the screws are put in. Really, like I said, very easy to do if you are doing it correctly. And hopefully you are. All right, guys. So if you are watching and you're someone else, thanks for watching. If you are me watching this in a year from now, just buy a ventless dryer because you're going to go crazy. And it'll make your spouse happy. So real quickly, before you buy anything, you're going to want to take the multimeter, put it to 200, not a K or an M, and then you are going to test all those fuses and the circuits. If it's 0.1, that means you have continuity. That means the fuses are good. So then you could start getting into heavier stuff, like we had to do the heating element. That was a little longer. However, that took maybe a couple minutes to put in, and literally it took no time at all. So all right, and some last words. Is it on pause?
The best part about when you get to see how the whole thing works. And once you're done, you get to throw it. That's how you made me feel.
Now go pick.
And as you know, this is so easy. Even an 11-year-old can do it. Peace.